My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read my writing and to see my latest CNN appearances and my MSNBC and RT appearances, you can go to hagoodman.com. My amazing subscribers are truly amazing. The GoFundMe for the Apache warrior, the woman Vanessa Dundan, who might lose her eye because of the just horrendous treatment the Standing Rock Sioux has received from state security forces and police around the around the Standing Rock the Dakota Access Pipeline. That GoFundMe account that started at like 21,000 last night. Just last night, I asked my subscribers, "Hey, let's go ahead and help this courageous woman who is the epitome of courage, this Apache warrior," and she is a warrior, battling sub-freezing temperatures, water hoses, attack dogs, getting shot in the eye with a tear gas canister, and now she might lose her eye. Now the GoFundMe, just from last night, is over $40,000. I can't say it's entirely this channel, but you are all amazing. My Bernie supporters, Jill Stein supporters, independents, conservatives, Trump voters, everyone who watches this channel is absolutely amazing. So please, please continue to share the GoFundMe for Vanessa, the Apache warrior, who might lose her eye because she was shot at really point-blank range with a tear gas canister. I will read you, first off, Julian Assange is alive, and he was speaking to Yumna Nufal several hours ago, and this is a tweet from WikiLeaks. Assange is currently speaking live to Yumna Nufal at FCM 16, and the Facebook link is there. So I will leave you the Facebook link to, and that was just several hours back. So Julian Assange is alive, thank God. He's alive, he's doing well, and he was speaking to Yumna Nufal. So in terms of the proof of life, that right there, I mean, WikiLeaks tweeted out, please don't ask for proof of life. So you don't need like a picture of him doing a handstand. He's alive, thank goodness, and he was actually just speaking to Yumna Nufal. I will go ahead and leave you the tweet. There's a whole lot of information here about Fidel Castro, his thoughts on WikiLeaks. I'm just going to go ahead and read you. I tried to click on the link of one of Castro's statements on WikiLeaks, but I couldn't. It wouldn't work. So I'm just going to go ahead and read you a series of tweets, okay, because Fidel Castro died. So I will read you, and everyone's talking about it, but WikiLeaks has a series of tweets out. Well, the first is Yumna Nufal actually tweeted, "We are broadcasting this interview live on Facebook. Please check out the May Chidiac Foundation." Then it's hundreds of diplomatic cables marked secret reveal State Department's classified analysis of Fidel Castro. So that's in one tweet. Assange is currently speaking to Yumna Nufal. That's the next one. 14,888 page file, FBI file on Cuba and anti-Castro efforts. So it's a lot of. When I was younger, I got a chance to speak. Well, I got a chance to hear this congressman, California Congressman Dana Rohrabacher, and this was when I was in Washington D.C. I just remember him talking about how we tried to kill the SOB Castro, and we couldn't even find him on the island. All these things, basically, very proud that we tried to go ahead and kill and assassinate Castro. This was like 20 plus years ago, but I'll never forget the the California congressman who was just so open. It struck me as very interesting as a young man. I found it very interesting that he would be so open with the fact that, yeah, we tried to kill him, we tried to kill the SOB, da da da. Anyway, he was speaking to me and a bunch of other people. Anyway, Here's a picture of Nelson Mandela and Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro and Assange. That's the link. I couldn't get that link to work. Maybe you can, but if you love this channel, or if you like this channel, or if you're staying with this channel, even though I'm going after Trump, just like I went after Clinton, and there's the Justice for Assange, Julian Assange Defense Fund. Please, please share this with everyone you know. It is extremely important that we have Assange and WikiLeaks protecting the world from the Washington Post and fake news. I'll get to that in a second. But it is really important because they shed light upon darkness, propaganda, groupthink, doublespeak. Julian Assange is a hero. So on that link, if you can get it to work, Fidel Castro and Assange. I mean, it couldn't work for me. Maybe it's my device, the device I'm using. But please share justiceforassange.com with everybody you know, Twitter, Facebook, everyone. Okay. Then there's Castro in Angola, full secret, full text of secret cable. Cuba after Fidel Castro, U.S. policy implications and approaches. Covert action, an effective instrument of U.S. foreign policy. That's also, this is essentially the Castro files, the Fidel Castro files coming out. U.S. government longing for the death of Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro on WikiLeaks. Ideas can be more powerful than nuclear weapons. That is the truth. Cuban mass exodus after the death of Fidel Castro. U.S. contingency planning to dump the refugees on other states. And how the U.S. administration used a powerful nun to gain intelligence on Cuba. Remember, don't look, don't read. Government warns its workers away from WikiLeaks documents. So this is a very interesting. The United States government is now, the Obama administration has warned people not to, warn government employees not to read WikiLeaks for fear of apparently breaking Espionage Act laws or whatever. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton put 22 top secret emails with special access program intelligence on an unencrypted private server connected to a BlackBerry the NSA said she couldn't use. How she was able to rewire the existing or restructure the existing IT infrastructure to accommodate her lousy private server, we won't know. Well, we kind of do know, but a few thoughts on WAPO's smear claims that Russia hacked America's democracy. Okay, so I will get to that. The TISA leaks, that is very interesting, and I'll get to that in a second too. The proposal on privatized censorship are particularly worrying, and that is an article out. But I will first get to the New York Times. Well, this was actually several years back. But don't look, don't read. Government warns its workers away from WikiLeaks documents. And now this is, what, 5 years before the Hillary email scandal. In a classic case of shutting the barn door after the horses left, the Obama administration and the Department of Defense have ordered the hundreds of thousands of federal employees and contractors not to view the secret cables and other classified documents published by WikiLeaks and news organizations around the world unless the workers have the required security clearance or authorization. Can you imagine anything more ridiculous? It's so ridiculous how petrified the government is of anyone, its own employees, reading WikiLeaks cables. And meanwhile, Hillary Clinton is extremely careless and negligent. The FBI said she was extremely careless and negligent. And she's still expected to be president, which is also very funny. I will go ahead and on blacklists and Russia hacking American democracy. The Washington Post, the original fake news site, which is something that WikiLeaks tweeted, which was fantastic. The Washington Post has been telling everyone for the entire year, and David Fahrenthold was one writer that said that Bernie Sanders was only after control with his college tuition plan and with single payer and all that stuff. They went after Bernie Sanders, and even Robert Reich was defending Bernie from Washington Post attacks. Then they told everyone, the Washington Post, that Hillary Clinton, well, she's going to win. She's on her way to winning. Trump is too temperamental for the job. He can't. He's a danger. He's a threat. This is the Washington Post. Then there's a Heavy.com article talking about a potential joint fundraiser. We learned from one of the WikiLeaks DNC emails between the Washington Post and the DNC. Very odd merging of the two. And so that's one issue also with the Washington Post. But the Washington Post has the audacity to call other people fake news when it has served as a mouthpiece, whether it's 140 articles and over 20 editorials, 26, I believe, building up to the Iraq War, saying that we have to invade, Saddam has weapons of mass destruction, or whether it's perpetuating the myth that Russia is behind WikiLeaks. The Washington Post is a public relations firm for the establishment. So whether it's a Republican in office or a Democrat in office, they will always side with power. This is why, from an integrity or journalistic sense, they're very dangerous, because they help shape the groupthink and the doublespeak, and it filters down to the Daily Beast and Slate and all the public relations machines firms for Democrats. But I'll read you a very interesting article on blacklists and Russia hacking, American democracy. WAPO has a headline: Russian propaganda efforts help spread fake news during election, experts say. Well, who are these experts? And what are their links to the Clinton Foundation or Hillary Clinton or the Democratic Party or the Washington Post or the Washington Post's agenda in saying, well, this is real, this is fake, listen to us, and trust us regarding Trump not winning? Where's the evidence? So much effort has been thrown out implicating the Russians in some way, and none of the evidence has stuck. Time and time again, the evidence fizzles and people move on to the next big scandal that also evaporates on closer inspection. Like the most recent WAPO story alleging that Russia launched a wide-ranging propaganda campaign to elect Donald Trump, bankrolling American journalists to work as Russia's willing collaborators, sowing fear and doubt, baselessly undermining Hillary Clinton, and supposedly weakening the very foundation of American democracy. The paper offered no evidence to back up its shocking claims, but relied on secret claims made by a shady anonymous group called Prop or Not, which compiled a blacklist of American news outlets it considers to be Russian agents engaging in treason. Within a day, the article coming out, Prop or Not story is already unraveling. The group admitted to lying about its partnering organizations and refuses to disclose why its media blacklist of Russian agents contains some of the best journalists in recent history. So it only adds credibility if the Washington Post says you're fake news or doesn't like you, or one of the experts that they cite says you're a Russian agent. Then that means that's awesome. That only lends credibility in this day and age. The Washington Post, first of all, ignores the fact that the New York Times and Politico, other publications, actually sent Podesta's the Podesta campaign and Clinton's sent articles to John Podesta to edit. Those are in the emails. Ignores the fact that Donna Brazile lost her job at CNN for sending questions to Hillary Clinton. Ignores the fact that the DNC WikiLeaks emails show that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign, as did 4 others forced to resign because of overt favoritism, foul play, and because of the fact they rigged the election against Bernie Sanders. The issue at stake is not, the issue here is not the fact that Russia or China or Iran or North Korea, because that's another ridiculous aspect of the propaganda. It wouldn't just be Russia. It would be Iran, China, North Korea, any other country on the planet that doesn't like our foreign policy or is adversarial in some manner or is a rival in some manner. But the issue here is WikiLeaks exposed corruption. Instead of the Washington Post or the Democratic Party or the President Obama or Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton, instead of them saying, let's fix this corruption, it was, let's keep the corruption. It's normal. The Republicans are just as bad. But this exposing of all the illegal activity or foul play, that is an example of Russian propaganda. It's not an example of corruption within the Democratic Party. It's an example of Russia being so nefarious that they would have the audacity to uncover the corruption within our society. How dare they do that? If that's essentially the propaganda. Give me your thoughts below. The Washington Post is a joke, in addition to the Daily Beast and all of them. They're all jokes. They're all very dangerous, amusing punchlines that pretend to be publications that are unbiased or objective. They work as public relations firms. That's it. We know WikiLeaks has integrity because the left loved WikiLeaks, the right loved WikiLeaks, everybody in the middle loved WikiLeaks. At what point or another, WikiLeaks has been a champion for all people throughout the political spectrum. We know from George Bush, we know from President Obama, WikiLeaks will expose corruption. It doesn't matter who's in power. That's the issue. They're the antithesis in that regard from the Washington Post. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so much for listening.